About my favorite piece now. This is why I started doing cooking parties. This is a bean pot. This is where everybody says, "Aw." Aww. This is a bean pot. Alright. I love my bean pots. I own 7. 7 bean pots are at my house. Yes, 7 bean pots are at my house. Here's why. I love them and they're pretty. I actually decorate with my bean pots at my house. If I'm buying something for my house, it has to do more than what it says it's going to do. I'm not buying an ottoman unless there's storage. I'm not buying a kitchen gadget unless it will open my garage door. I need to make sure that there's lots of different functions that go with it. Now, is anybody here a slow cooker person? They like using that?
Yes.
Alright, I was too, and now they all live in my basement. Couple reasons why. Number 1, this will replace it. It has no cord. Number 2, how many of you decorate with your crock pots? Anybody? No? Okay. I decorate with my bean pots. I don't have much cabinet space at my house. So I have bean pots scattered all over the place. I have them on bookshelves. I have it in the bathroom with hand towels rolled up in it. They're just very pretty decorative pieces. And then when I need it, I take it off the shelf, I dust it off, put the food inside, cover it up, cook with it. When it's done, it goes right back on the shelf. I don't have to worry about cabinet space, okay, or counter space, anything like that. Great little planters. Fake plants at my house because I kill anything real. But they're great for planters as well. Just little ideas that you can do with things other than make beans in it. Now, a little bit about our stoneware. Remove that for a second. I own lots of other kinds of stoneware pieces. Our stoneware is glazed, inside, outside, all around. That means it's dishwasher safe. Remember when I said I don't do dishes? I don't like it. This can go in the dishwasher. I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to tell you a story. I burned something severely in my bean pot one time. This is my bean pot disaster story. I made pulled pork. Well, I attempted to make pulled pork. I put a nice, pork roast in, barbecue sauce, put it in the oven, set it for nice and low. Didn't set a timer and then went outside with my kids. Yeah. Later on that night, I had forgotten that I was cooking it. I remember thinking during the day, oh, that smells really good, and then didn't think about it again outside with the kids. Came back in later, and it didn't smell right. Did you know that barbecue sauce, when severely burned, turns into tar? It does. It turns black into tar. My pork roast was this big, it was this big. I couldn't cut it. It was awful. I was very unhappy. So what happened, I'm telling you this to tell you how easy these are to clean. I got mad. I didn't throw anything, but I got mad. I cleaned up as much as I could. I plopped it in the sink, put a little bit of dish soap in, filled it with hot water, and said, forget it, I'm going to bed after a bowl of cereal, because that's what we eat at my house. The next morning, I was expecting to have to do some serious scrubbing on this to get it clean. I literally dumped the water out and took a sponge around, and it got clean. I still ran it through the dishwasher because I felt like I had to, but there was no scrubbing involved. So they are very, very easy to clean. Now, obviously they're oven safe because you can't cook with them. You can make more than beans. Anything you do in your slow cooker, you can do in this. You may have to tweak your recipe a little bit, change your time, play with the oven temperatures. Everybody's oven's different. On that note, if this doesn't work, we're blaming the oven, not the piece. Just so you know. Everybody's appliances work differently, so that's how that goes. So this is oven safe. Now, for those of you who are like me and you don't come up with things on your own, you have no idea what to even begin to put in here besides beans, we have cookbooks. We have a series of 4 cookbooks right now that are specific for our bean pots. These are fantastic. They're very easy because they're written by real people. There's not crazy gourmet stuff in here with 15 different items. Okay? You don't need a ton of ingredients, and it's all stuff that you can dump right in. Now, obviously you can go in the oven. It goes in the dishwasher, which is key. That's the way it goes. Now, it insulates our food. I'm going to tell you this little story. My husband works a crazy job. His hours are a little off. Let's say I'm planning a nice dinner, pre-bean pot. We'll say it's in a crock pot. I'm making a nice roast in my crock pot, okay? Set to be done at 7 o'clock because he's supposed to be home at 7 o'clock. I get a call at 6:45. Yeah, I'm not going to be home till 8:30. Okay. Smile. Okay. Hang up the phone. In my crock pot, now my roast, I can put it on the warm setting, but it's going to get crunchy and dried out and not make me happy. I can take it out of the crock pot when it's done, wrap it up, put it in the fridge, save it for later, bring it back out, and reheat it, but then I'm having leftovers. I don't want leftovers. I want roast. Okay? Now, start that story again. This time we're cooking it in the bean pot. Have a roast cooking in the oven, smells good, not forgetting about it this time. It's said to be done at 7 o'clock. Husband calls at 6:45. I'm not going to be home till 8:30. Oh, no problem. Get this out of the oven when it's ready, put the kids to bed. Leave it covered, and it's going to stay hot for 2 to 4 hours. Okay, it's not going to keep cooking, but it will keep it hot. I mentioned it insulates the food. It will keep everything inside of it nice and toasty. Okay, so it'll be ready to serve just as is when he gets home. On that note, It will also keep things cool. You can use these bean pots as ice buckets if you wanted. You put it in the fridge or freezer overnight to pre-chill it, fill it with ice, and you have a great little ice bucket. Your ice doesn't melt as fast. It's great for in the summertime with different kinds of salads, lots of the mayonnaise-based things that you don't like bringing to picnics. Pack it up in here when it's pre-chilled, ready to go, and it will stay cold for 2 to 4 hours. Okay? Any questions? No questions so far? All right. Dishwasher safe, oven safe, freezer safe, and also microwave safe. That roast that I cooked, yeah, I don't like doing dishes. I mentioned that. If it was in a crock pot, I still have to put it on something to serve it and all that kind of stuff. No. I make my food in my bean pot. I serve it in my bean pot, in my handy little basket. Okay? Put that on my table to serve it with because it looks pretty. And then when I have leftovers, they can stay in the bean pot. I stick them in the fridge. Next day, I can pull them out and put it in the microwave, all in one pot. So that's way less dishes for me to have to do. Now, I mentioned the basket. The basket is something that is separate, but if you're considering a bean pot, I highly suggest it. First of all, it just looks cute. Doesn't it look pretty? I mean, look. That's pretty, right? That's pretty. That is so much prettier. And it's just great for moving things around. Those of you who have tried to pack up food in like a slow cooker, wrap it in a towel, stick it in a box so it doesn't slide around in your car. You have a nice little basket. This is way easier to move around. Okay, so it's great for transporting. If you do lots of potlucks at work, if you have a sick relative you're always bringing food to, if you have a camper that you have someplace that you can bring food back and forth to, that's why you need the basket. In addition, this is also a trivet. I mentioned I don't like doing dishes. So what happens is I take my food, put it in here, and put it on the table. It won't damage the table, and I don't have to dirty a serving dish. Okay? All right, now this little napkin at the front. Bean pots don't come like that. They actually come like this. This is just a way that I can show you. You can weave a napkin in and out to decorate it up for the seasons. If you have pretty fall colors or Christmas colors, you can decorate your basket like that. Okay, any questions? Everybody wants one now, right?
Yes.
Let's see. All right, now I mentioned dessert before. I'm going to move this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move this right here. I mentioned dessert, because you can't go to a party and not have dessert. All right. Everybody like cake?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody like chocolate cake?
Yes.
Oh, yay. We're on the same page. All right, I am going to make a cake for you in a bowl. Remember, no dishes. Don't like dishes. If you're making a cake at your house, you have to get out your little mixer thingy, and you have to do all sorts of craziness, and you have flour, pop it all over the place. No, I make a cake in one bowl. Mix it, bake it, everything done. 15 minutes. Who's my skeptic? I always have a skeptic at a party. Ooh, there we go. I always have a skeptic that says that would never work. I just love it. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Everything's so done and pretty. Now, you notice before I didn't spray the other thing or anything? I didn't prep any of this. The glaze, for the most part, is non-stick. You can spray it if you really want to, but it's not necessary. Now, for this chocolate cake, it's very, very simple. Box cake mix. Powder only. Don't make the cake mix ahead of time. You plop your powder in here. Alright? Good. Pre-cut is always nice. A lot easier than struggling. Alright. We are going to have 3 eggs. Okay? 1 cake mix. 3 eggs. This is the same for any cakes. Anybody who purchases a cake, by the way, or purchases a cake. Anybody who purchases a bowl, by the way, the set of bowls for me this evening, I do have recipes for 15 different kinds of cakes that I do email to people if they purchase the bowls, because you can do this with more than just chocolate. Alright, so we have cake mix. We have 3 eggs, no shells. See? Very good. Make a mess. The way I do things. That's why I have towel. Alright, now, before y'all freak out, none of the calories at my parties count. Okay? Because you're all going to freak out right now. You have a 16-ounce tub of sour cream that we are going to put in here. Oh, nobody freaked out. Yay. You want the whole thing in here. Now, I mentioned there's different kinds of recipes you can do. If you're doing not a chocolate cake, if you want to do a fruited cake, you put a pie filling, a can of pie filling instead of the sour cream. That's really all you have to do to change it around. And because I like chocolate, we have chocolate chips. Because really, you can't have chocolate cake without more chocolate in it. It's just the way it goes. I have done this with butterscotch chips and with mint chips and all sorts of others, so there's lots of different varieties you can do. And then all you do is you mix it up. Alright? Now this tends to take, way more time than I would like it to. For those of you who are like me at home, typically not at my parties, and you just don't like mixing things by hand because, again, you want to save time. That's the reasoning. You can use your electric hand mixer in these bowls and you don't have to worry about them chipping. I've done that with mashed potatoes and things before. You just want to make sure you're doing a really good job of mixing it. If you don't mix it all the way, you end up with some powder at the very bottom of the cake. So then when I take it out of the bowl, which I am going to do, the top ends up powdery and people don't know why. So you do want to make sure you mix it real well. So far you can make a cake like this, right?
Yes.
Did I mention we are cooking this in the microwave?
No.
Oh, yeah, I don't cook in my oven. In the summertime, it's too hot. So, this is a great, those nights where you just want something and you don't know what, it usually takes like an hour by the time you're done making a cake to actually eat the cake. Not in my house. In my house, if we want cake, we get it within 20 minutes. Alright, so you're going to want to mix this real good. Make sure you got all the powder all mixed up from on the bottom. I must be getting stronger. This didn't take me as long as it usually does. Either that or somebody's going to bite into a big old chunk of powder when you're done. Alright, so we mix it all up. And then all I do is I kind of spread it around on the top. Now remember, it doesn't really matter what this part looks like because this is the bottom of your cake. What we're going to do is when it's done cooking and cools a little bit, we're going to invert it onto a plate. So you're going to have a little dome-shaped cake. It's great for decorating. If you have a son with a birthday party, you make it a little baseball, you make it a little golf course, you can do all sorts of things with it. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Now, this is what your cake looks like when it's all mixed. Okay, ready? Good to go. Now what we're going to do with this, there's one other thing that we're missing. Move that out of the way. You need to make sure you cover your bowl when you put it in the microwave. Okay, now, this is one of our beautiful celebrating home plates. I've never tried making the cake with a regular plate, so I don't know for sure that it will work, so you might want to consider, just some. Alright, there you go. You're going to cover it up just like this. We're going to put it in the microwave for 13 minutes, and then we'll test it to make sure it's done, and then I will show you what it's like when it's all finished. Alright, there you go.